My name is Dustin Pierce, and I graduated from Miami University in 2012 with a BFA in graphic design. Today, I want to share with you the story of my journey into the job market and the 3 lessons I learned along the way that helped me go the distance between graduation and career. Searching for a job sucks. If you're entering the job market for the first time, I want to give you some perspective on this by asking you to think back to winter break. After the first semester of my senior year, I was so excited for winter break. I loved the Christmas season, and I was looking forward to doing holiday activities with my friends. Unfortunately, though, I didn't have any money, so winter break ended up turning into 3 weeks of doing nothing but sitting around my parents' house and waiting to go back to school. I had watched all the Shark Tank I wanted to watch, and I was still so bored that I even decided to try out online dating. Yeah, it got pretty depressing. What I realized was that having to go to classes and having to do projects gave my life purpose, and without it, I felt useless. I didn't feel the need to get up early, I didn't feel the need to exercise, and I didn't even feel the need to brush my teeth. And that was only after 3 weeks. 8 months after graduation, 9 out of the 18 career-bound students in my class were still unemployed. That's 50% of my class. By the middle of summer, I'd already applied to hundreds of jobs. I had tried talking with career services at my school. I had tried networking, and I even tried learning new skills to add to my resume. I had tried everything I could think of, and still I was getting nowhere. On top of all that, I was starting to feel the pressure of having to pay back my student loans, and my dad handing over more and more financial responsibility to me. So, 3 months into my job search, I was not only going insane, I was going broke. Out of necessity, my job search shifted from trying to find a career to just getting by. The first lesson that I learned for how to go the distance between graduation and career is this: you need money to fuel your journey. No matter what your major, get a part-time job after graduation while you're looking for a job in your field. There's no telling how long it'll take you to find a job after college, but one thing's for sure: if you don't have money, your search is going to get desperate really quick. A part-time job will not only give you a little bit of money in the bank, it'll also give your day-to-day a little bit more purpose, even if that purpose is just bagging groceries. Be smart when applying to part-time jobs, though. Employers know that as a recent college graduate, you're looking for a job in your field, and you're out the door the first offer you get. I learned this the hard way. Not only was I getting turned down by every firm that I applied for, now Walmart wouldn't even hire me. Talk about low blow. So if you get asked if you're looking for long-term employment, say yes. You're not lying. The statistics for how long it takes a recent college graduate to find a job in their field says that you could be at this for a while. Oh, and one more thing while talking about money. I highly suggest reading Financial Peace by Dave Ramsey and doing everything he says. There's no better feeling than having control over your money. I eventually did find a part-time job as a pharmacy technician, but right after I went in for orientation, I got a call about a video production internship that I applied for. They offered me 40 hours a week, plus great experience, so I took it. I didn't know it at the time, but that experience gave me the credibility I needed 5 months down the road to accept my first job offer. Just because you graduated college doesn't mean you can't take another internship. If you're strategic, it could mean more opportunity for you later on down the road. Now I had money in the bank, but still my job search was going nowhere, and worse, I was starting to lose hope. While in my internship, I'd overheard several people talk about how they wish they had become pharmacists. So I did some research on the average annual salary for a pharmacist and found out that it was quite a bit more than a graphic designer. After 6 months of having no luck finding a job in my field, I had reached the ends of my rope and I had started to think about jumping ship. My internship eventually came to an end and I finally started working at the pharmacy. This time, however, with the intent of becoming a pharmacist. I met my uncle one day at our local library to discuss my new plan with him. As we were walking through the aisles, I noticed a big book that caught my eye, and its title read Walt Disney. I was feeling a bit sarcastic, so I grabbed the book and showed it to my uncle and said, "I'm going to read this." He just looked at me and said, "You're not going to read that. It'll take you 10 years to read that." And even though I had no intention of reading that book before his comment, now, because of some misplaced need to prove him wrong, I was determined. So, every day I would get up and go to work at the pharmacy. Then every night I would come home and read a little bit more about the life of Walt Disney. This pattern went on for a few weeks. After getting about a quarter of the way through the book, I started to realize the effects this was having on me. As I entered Walt Disney's life, his story and his struggles, I was leaving my own. Over time, I not only started to see the world beyond the perspective of my own circumstances, I started to draw hope from how Walt Disney overcame the seemingly insurmountable obstacles in his life. The second lesson that I learned for how to go the distance between graduation and career is this: hope is fuel. And since hope comes from experience, the best experience to get it from is the experience of others. So read a biography or autobiography about a person in your field whom you respect. Entering his or her struggles will help take you out of your own. Then, seeing how they overcame obstacles will give you hope. It's the perfect circle. As I spent more time in the pharmacy, I started to interact with more and more recent pharmacy graduates and hear their stories and struggles of finding a full-time job in their field. It wasn't until I finally understood the cost of going back to school, though, that I decided to give up becoming a pharmacist and get back on track finding a job in graphic design. Up until that point, all of my methods for finding a job had proven useless, and I knew that if I was going to succeed this time, I was going to need a new plan. I remembered hearing about a friend of mine who graduated in the class before me who didn't find his first job until 6 months after graduation. I knew that if anyone could understand what I was going through and be able to offer useful advice, it would be him. So I sent him a message and asked him to share his story with me and any other advice he could offer. Here's what he said. Step 1, revamp your portfolio. Step 2, revamp your website. And step 3, blog. These are constants. Then, update LinkedIn, update Behance, and update all other social media networks. Make yourself sound like a designer. Finally, apply to 3 jobs a day until you get a call. Continue applying to 3 more jobs a day until you get an offer. It's easier to find a job when you're actively working in an internship, so work out a better internship if you're given the opportunity. If you're not a graphic designer, you might be thinking, okay, this doesn't apply to me. And while the specifics may be a little bit different for you, the point is still the same. You need a proven plan. The third lesson that I learned for how to go the distance between graduation and career is this: find someone who graduated a year before you and ask them how they got their first job. The job market is constantly changing, and the best people to advise you on its current challenges are those who have just been through it. Just make sure that the plan is simple, something that you can repeat every day, and most of all, that it's believable. I remember one night writing in my journal about how frustrated I was that I still had not found a job in my field 8 months after graduation, and I was starting to slip into despair. Up until I started following Paul's plan, I had been swinging from one extreme thing to the next. From one moment thinking that the only way I would ever find a job in graphic design would be to learn programming, to the next moment thinking about completely giving up on graphic design altogether and applying to pharmacy school. But for the first time, instead of entertaining my thoughts of despair, I stopped myself and decided instead to put my hope in following Paul's plan. That moment marked a very deep and significant change in my outlook and approach to the job search. The next day I had a phone interview. The interview went horrible, but shortly after that I received 2 more phone calls from 2 different jobs that I applied for that seemed interested in my skills. One offered me the job right then and there, and the other one offered me the job 2 weeks later. After 8 months of only experiencing the pressure of not having a job, now I was experiencing a completely different kind of pressure, deciding which job to choose. I know that without Paul's help and following his advice, I would never have been offered those opportunities. Searching for a job sucks. And while I may not have a ton of life experience, if you're entering the job market for the first time, what I do have is a head start on the journey you're about to make. So let my story be your guide. The job search is a marathon race, not an all-nighter. With a steady financial foundation, hope based in other people's stories, and a proven plan, you can go the distance and you will cross the finish line. For the Miami graphic design graduates of 2013, this is for you. I love you way more than you know, and I hope that your job search goes way easier than mine. Good luck.